good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful day. Let's get going here. I'm gonna post some of these tweets out. Perfect. Let's get everyone to tune in. Awesome. Perfect. So we'll wait for everyone to kind of get in here. We'll wait till 8:35 as usual, and then we'll get things going. Nancy, good morning, good morning. Walked upon, good morning. Coffee time. Indeed. Nick Cassidy, what's going on, man? Good morning. Oh man, my stomach's been doing weird things the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how this goes. Gonna wait here till everyone tunes in. Wait till 8:35 a.m. In the meantime, we'll take a look at the jobs report number that should be coming out shortly here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Continuous jobless claims. The forecast was 1403. It came up actual 1408. So looks like it came worse than expected, to say the least. All right. Priscilla, good morning. Edgar, where my espresso? Good morning. Ion, good morning. How you doing, man? Legit Movers Chicago, good morning. All right. Getting people to slowly tune in here. Eric, what's going on, man? Good morning. All right. Market coming down a little bit on that jobs report number here. We'll see what it does. That vital number is that 120, that 422 level here. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how it does going into the open, of course. We'll talk about those levels. Gonna wait till 8:35 for everybody to tune in here. In the meantime, you guys can look at this wonderful SPY chart. Corrado, hello from Italy. What's going on, man? The Godson. Good morning, everybody. Happy trading today. Yes. All right. Foolish snowboarder. What's going on, man? Good morning. All right. It's 8:32. We'll wait a few more minutes until 8:35 and we'll get things popping. Let's get some people in here. The tweets are out. The messages are out. Let's go. LM, good morning. What's going on, man? Or what's going on? Shouldn't say man or woman. I'm not sure if it's a man or woman. Just say good morning. Did I say good morning to Nancy? I think I missed saying good morning to Nancy. Nancy, good morning. How you doing? Hey, Mikhail, what's going on, man? Good afternoon from Switzerland. Yes. All the way from Switzerland, tuning in nice and early. Early bird gets the worm. Let's go. Got about 2 more minutes here. And then we'll dive right into it. Actually, a little bit less, but a minute, 20 seconds. And then we'll get things popping. If you guys are tuned in here, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. Yes, Nancy, she just said the exact same thing. Go ahead and smash that like button. The YouTube algorithm loves it when you guys do that. So please go ahead and smash that like button. I'm good, man. Just learning every day. Awesome. That's what it's about, man. Gotta learn. So obviously it's that time of year again where it's continuously earnings coming out. A few earnings that came out: PayPal, TDoc, QCOM, Facebook, obviously now. Pretty drastic moves, some of them, especially with TDoc here. It went from $56 all the way down to $31 currently, so getting absolutely roasted here. So we've got about 10 seconds and then we'll get started here. If you guys are here, get ready. Go ahead and smash that like button and we'll dive right into it. We'll talk about the SPY, we'll talk about the Qs, we'll talk about some free alerts, how you guys can take advantage of them. And lastly, we'll jump in and see if you guys have any questions about some tickers that you guys want me to look at. All right, so it is 8:35. Let's get right into it and let's take a look at what's been going on here. All right, so this last week we had a lot of consolidation at this 445.79 and 436 level. All right, when we lost that big level here, which was on April 22nd, we pulled down, we lost this 436 support, and we saw selling really increase. All right, now again, if you guys have followed me long enough, you know that there's a pocket here, right? And you know, these pockets are pretty important because they give you hollow areas that there isn't going to be much buyers stepping up. And from this 436.60 level, pretty much until this 427, there was really no other support in the way, right? However, we did break that. We did open lower, we came back down and popped back up, put in this hammer, but now we're still fighting this little support area, this 415.69, which was the more important level, right? We see clear buyers stepping up on March 8th and March 14th, and we kind of stopped right there. We pushed back up again yesterday, and we're still hovering over that 415.69 level, okay? So that seems to be a pretty vital area here, okay? If we lose that, then obviously this is our next area. Then we're going to have to look to the left to find more support areas, okay? That's in regards to the SPY. I'm going to jump right in and go into a closer time frame here, and I want to show you guys something. So this is the 15-minute time frame. Let's take a look at what's going on here, okay? I'm going to put my levels up. It's a little too dirty. Let's go back to the blank. Okay, so let's put this level right here. Okay, on what day is this? This is April 26th. On April 26th, we lost this level of 422 area, 422.40, popped back up, rejected, and failed to get back above it. We saw a lot of consolidation at this level as well here, right? We can see that this level, there's lots of price action happening. Something's going on at this level. Yesterday, we popped back up to it, and we failed to hold, and we sold off again. Today, we're getting back above it here, and that's going to be the key level I'm going to be paying attention to. All right, that 422.80, 422 level is something that I'm going to be really focusing on very closely. All right, we need to see if price actions are going to maintain back above this 422.60, 422.80, and that's where I'll decide what's really going to happen. Okay, if we do open and we pop back above this 422.80, then great. You know, we could look to retest these pre-market highs of 424.50 level, and then we can look to push to the 426, 428, and obviously ultimately that 430.95 level. Okay, if we do continue to get some weakness and we start rolling over and we're not able to hold that 422, then great. We'll look to the downside. And what are we looking for to the downside here? We got to see what's going to happen at this 417.90, which was a level that it held yesterday, and then yesterday's lows at around 415.80, and then ultimately that 413, 412 area. Okay, that's the kind of level I'm paying attention to today. The vital area for me is going to be this 422.50, 422.80, 422 area. This congestion right here in that 422 area is what I'm going to be keeping a good close eye on. We need to see if we are going to be able to hold above this 422.80 or lose the 422 and continue back lower. Remember, the candle we put in yesterday was not the prettiest candle, right? We have a candle that is pretty ugly here actually. We tried to pop up, we sold off. We're sitting at this key area, this key support level at that 415. So if we start getting weakness and lose that 415, we could see some further downside, and your next big support is only sitting at their 410.60 level. All right, so keeping an eye on that. I really want to see what's going to happen at this 422 level to see if we're going to push back above it or roll over. Okay, that's in regards to the SPY. Now I'm going to jump in and get into the Qs. Perfect. So the Qs, again, from April 12th or April 11th till around April 21st, we had a very similar look in regards to the SPY and the Q, right? We had that sideways consolidation where we had with the SPY. However, the Qs broke down a little earlier, and SPY actually penetrated out of that bear flag on the 22nd, whereas the Qs penetrated at the 21st. So we got an earlier breakdown on the Qs, again showing that relative weakness. This relative weakness has been around for quite some time. It's we've seen relative weakness in tech names across the board for at least the last 2-3 months, right? So we saw that breakdown and we saw it sell off. Where we sell off to? We sold off to this next area, this 317.40 level and this 315.98, which comes from back when. So we're starting to see some consolidation, some buyers kind of stepping up here, but we really have to pay attention to what's going to happen at this 316 level as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the closer time frame again here, and let me pull up my levels. Perfect. So take a look at what's going on here. All right, very similar to the price action that we saw on the SPY. We're kind of seeing the same thing right here. We see that resistance right there. We're seeing the resistance here. We're seeing the resistance here. And also it was respected here as well, right? So this tells you that this level is a pretty key level. This 322.46 is a vital area. So I'm going to be keeping an eye at this 322.46 level. I need to see what's going to happen at the open. Are we going to hold this and continue pushing higher? If so, great. What are we looking at if we do that? If we do that, then we're looking to push to the 324, 325.97, 327, and ultimately this congestion area at 329.11. Okay, if we're able to clear this, we have some resistance at 332.38, but that's a big move up. But first and foremost, we need to stay above the 322.46 in order to attack these upside levels, and we need to see that continuation and follow through. Staying above this level of 322.46 is step number one. All right, now if we lose that 322.46, what's going to happen here? We're obviously going to come back down to your first support right here at the 320.60, and then your next area of support is right there, which was again confirmed, right? So 316.08, and then you're looking to pull towards the 313, 311 area, which happens to be the pre-market lows, or sorry, after hour lows, dating back to April 26th. All right, so this 322.46 level is going to be that vital area I'm going to be paying attention to. Okay, push and hold out of the first 10-15 minutes. Great, we could see upside to at least 327, 329, given that we are sitting at that support level on the daily. So we could see that push come up for at least maybe a relief bounce, or we'll see what goes on. But this is the area that I'm keeping an eye on to see if we're going to get that bounce higher. We'll lose at 322.46, and we could look to fall a little bit lower here. All right, so that's in regards to the Qs and the SPY. All right, let me go back to the daily time frame here and just kind of show you guys again what I mean. So because we're coming into support, this pop back up. If we stay above that 322.46 level, great. I would look to try to see if we can at least backtrack a little bit. Even if, you know, we are in bearish territories, a little pop back up before rolling over would be healthy. And that's something that I would like to see sitting at these support levels. All right. Now, in regards to the free alerts, let me get to free alerts and we'll talk about them. So the first one is CCL. All right, perfect. So CCL, we spoke about, you know, how those pockets, again, it's in a pocket, it's got room to fall to the 1684 level. But let's take a look at the pre-market time frame and see what's going on here. So the game plan on CCL is this. If it gets over that 1795 level, 1790 level, I'm looking to buy calls, okay? And why is that? Well, simply because we see this resistance here, we see this resistance here, we see this resistance here. We have pretty good resistance being built up, and price action is slowly getting tighter and tighter towards that 1719 level, okay? If we do break above the 1719, we could see a push to the 1828, which is something that I'm looking to take into consideration. However, if we do roll back under that 1750 level, then I'll look to take it to the downside, at least to the 1715, and then that 1684 to complete that pocket on the daily that we talked about, okay? If we pop over 1719, I'll look to buy calls, and under the 1750 level, which kind of gets rid of this volume congestion that we have, then I'll look to take it to the downside, okay? So two ways to play this. Over the 1719, calls towards 1820, 1850. Under the 1750, it might get a little choppy, but ultimately it does have room to fall to the 1684 on the daily, okay? That's in regards to CCL, and at the end I'll talk about how I want to kind of take advantage of these and how you guys can trade them. So BA here, I'm keeping an eye over this 158 level, okay? Now the reason why I'm talking about this 158 level is because you can see that aggressive sell-off. We took advantage of this big move yesterday. Now it's popping back up, and it's starting to show a good area of resistance here. It's resisting again here. So I really want to see what's going to happen if it does get back above this 158. If it does get back above this 158, great. I'll look to at least get back to these highs right here, which happens to be around the 162.50 level, and obviously over that there is a gap that you can take advantage of towards the 167. All right, now if it does get back under the 154.50, which essentially eliminates this little hump right here, this pre-market low, this after hour session, then we can look to retest that 150.120 area, that 150.68 area, and then lose that. You can look back to retest that 146. This 158.68 level comes from a daily support from way back when. In my last video, I talked about how I came up with these two videos, so maybe you guys can take a look at that, and it explains how I did that. All right, so over the 158, looking to take advantage of some calls to kind of take advantage of these, you know, intraday pockets, and under the 154.50, I'll look to take advantage of some downside moves on it. Next one on the list here, Uber. Let's take a look at Uber. All right, so Uber, I'm looking at that 3150 level, sorry, 3140 level, right? And that's right here. That's this pivot high right here, okay? We can see we popped up and had an aggressive sell-off, all right? So that puts us in an intraday pocket. Pockets can be used for dailies and intraday levels. This resistance area lines up with this resistance area, and this area is where we had that double top with these two candles, and it kind of sold off, all right? So I'm taking a look at this 3140 level. Above that, I'll look to try to fill this intraday pocket for about a 50-cent move. We'll see how that kind of pushes up to that area, and if it starts to hold, great, we'll take advantage for another few 40-50 cent move to the upside. Now if this gets back under that 31 level, right here at this 31 level, very similar look to all the other things we looked at, we could see this pull back down to that 30.15, and I'll be able to take advantage of this to the downside. Really depends what the market's going to do out the open. Are we going to lose that 422 level, or are we going to push higher? And that's going to give us the direction and the sentiment to see which way we're going to take advantage of these moves. All right. Now, how do you guys take these trades? I've explained this before, but I'll go ahead and explain it again. For those of you guys that are new here, if the alert triggers in the first 5-10 minutes, let's say the price action opens here, and the market is about to open, and we open up in the first few minutes, and we're coming right up to this level, okay? I take the trigger, if it's within the first 10-15 minutes, I take the trigger right there, and I want to get that explosive move that happens before we kind of consolidate and go higher. If it's within the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, I take the trigger right as it comes, and I don't wait for a pullback. Okay. Now, let's say, time has gone by, and, an hour or so has gone, and the market's kind of going sideways or chopping up and down, and then we come to this trigger level. What do you do then? You need to wait for this to break out, come back, retest, and that's when you get involved to buy your calls and you take advantage of the move higher. Okay? If it's within the first 5-10 minutes, you have that volume and that strength to push you right through. If it's after that first hour or so and the volume in the market has completely dried out, you really don't want to take that breakout here. You need to wait for that retest as confirmation to see if it's going to hold and continue higher. Okay. The downside of this is obviously if that strength and momentum comes in, you might miss that move. It might never come back to retest, but this will be the safest way to kind of get back involved if it's during lunchtime or about 1 p.m. Eastern time where the volume is a little bit low. All right. So that's how I would take advantage of that. So now I'm going to jump into the chat. If you guys have questions in regards to some of the tickers you want me to take a look at, let me know. And please make sure you tell me if you want to day trade it, swing trade it, calls or puts. That way I know how to kind of go about telling you guys what my opinion is, and you guys can kind of take advantage of that. All right. Doran, good morning. Don, good morning. Mitchell, time frame. So since we were looking at SPY and the Qs, it was the 15-minute time frame. Now Uber is the 5-minute time frame. I'm just showing you guys the levels here. Usually I really trade off the 2-minute, 5-minute, and 15-minute. Good morning, I'm here, relaxing, calming sounds, what's going on? The Godson looking to swing AMD puts. Alright, so if you're looking to swing, you're going to look at the daily chart. Let's take a look at AMD puts. Alright, you always got to ask yourself, where has the stock been? Where has it come down to in the most recent price action? So the stock was essentially up at 125. It is now at 84. Hasn't really tested the moving averages. There's really no daily pattern. We don't have a rising wedge. And this move right here, just to swing puts, to me, it's a chase. There's really no reason for this. You would just be buying puts because you think it's going to go down. Ultimately, what you want, especially in a stock that's kind of downtrending, is you want to pop back up into the moving averages to look for your put positions. You want to see some sort of a rising wedge. You want to see some sort of a bearish pennant before you can get involved on your puts. At this point, to kind of buy puts here, to me, it's a little bit risky. The stock has gone from 125 all the way down to 85. Even on the most recent bounce, it's gone from 98 to 85. So a pretty big drop, and you're chasing puts down here. You're not going to get the move that you want. The meat of the move is already done. You have to wait for a pop back up into the moving averages before you start getting involved in some of these puts. TSM and Facebook puts day trade. Facebook is obviously an earnings play. I mean, you really have to, with earnings plays, you have to pay attention to the IV. The IV on Facebook is close to 600%. I personally probably will not touch this simply because if you start buying calls and this thing goes down, you're going to get absolutely smoked because the IV is going to crush you. okay? IV is significantly high on this. The first 5-10 minutes of market open, the IV is going to get crushed, whether you're in calls or puts. So I would definitely hang tight on this one and stay away from this one until you know, the IV comes back down. But I mean, it's made a significant move up here. Look to maybe try to catch that reversal off the 192, 185 level, and that's the only time I would pay attention to it. TSM. Let's take a look at the daily chart on TSM. TSM puts. So TSM has room to fall. I mean, it's got room to fall here, but you really have to wait and pay attention here. It's gapping up a little bit. You know, because of that gap up and where these resistance levels are sitting, you have to pay attention to that 92.80 level. If it breaks above that, you're actually going to see a bullish push on this towards that 94 level. To buy puts, I think you really have to wait for that 91 break to the downside. Otherwise, you're going to get chopped around. So wait for that. There's really nothing else there right now in between. HYJ 71 put for June 17th. This is an ETF. HYJ 71 put. I mean, it's broken down here. This is a little bit of an H pattern that we talked about. It's broken down. If you're gonna swing puts, I would wait to kind of take advantage of it near the end of day. It's kind of pushing up again here. You need to stay under that 17.19 level. If it gets back under that 17.19 level by close near the end of day, then you can kind of take advantage of some puts. But not a fan of trading ETFs, to be honest. They have a mind of their own, and it can really bounce back up just if sentiment kind of changes here. So wait for end of day if you want to buy some puts. It has a little bit of an H that did break down, so you could take advantage of that. It's got room to come back down. If you use fibs here, your most recent low and high, you got room to hit 78.70, 77.90 on just the most recent price action here. MasterCard for a day trade. You're talking about calls or puts? Not really sure. BA for day trade. So we just talked about BA. CLF day trade, inside day, up or down. CLF is an inside day. I looked at it this morning. I would wait for this level here. If you lose 27.36, take advantage of the put side, and if you get back above 28, you could look to take advantage of the calls. Okay, if you want to trade that inside day, the inside day to the upside triggers over 28, and on these inside day plays, I actually like to take the most recent pivot, which would be 27.36, which would get you a head start than waiting for the low of day of 26.79. Okay, so 28 calls, 27.36 puts on that one. BITO calls. What is with you guys in trading these ETFs? There's really nothing here. I had an inside day yesterday. I had a nice sell-off. It could see a run towards this 25.30 level. I would wait for this 24.80 level to break, and then you can look to kind of take calls. But to me, this ETF doesn't have enough juice for me to get involved in it, so I'm not really interested in that one. Looking to add long-term or swing veil. Looking to add long-term or swing. Well, there's no swing in this one yet. I mean, it's selling off. It's under the 200 moving average. It's under all the moving averages here. I wouldn't really start a swing position as I don't really see much of a pattern here. If you do want to start adding to this for long term, just take a look at the map on the daily chart. Your next support's at 1490, and then you got good support at 1350, and then ultimately right here you can see there's resistance, support, that 1217 area. So give yourself the opportunity to add a few times at this 1490, 1350, 1270 level for a day trade. I don't really like it. Doesn't really look like there's much going on here. And that's pretty much it. I would stay away from the day trade side of this one. Good morning. Looking to day trade Dell puts. Let's take a look at Dell puts. I would love to know some of your ideas, like why puts, just as a curiosity. Dell puts here, you have this clear support, or now resistance turns support at this 43.46 level. You can see it was resistance all the way through. Now it's back above it. Some weird price action going on. Not sure if this was earnings or whatnot, but candles are pretty jumpy here in the pre-market. To buy puts, you have to get back under that 43.46 level. If you get under that, you do have room to fall to the 43 and ultimately the 42.60. What's a good IV range to trade? 30 to 120. 120 is kind of pushing it. What do I think about Twitter? I'm not touching Twitter. I don't like to get involved with too much anticipation. That deal hasn't even gone through. So, and Elon Musk has started to become a meme leader. MasterCard calls for day trade. MasterCard. Oh wait, that's M. What is MasterCard stuff? MA, yeah, I knew that. Alright, so MA calls for day trade. Sure, MA calls for day trade. You need to get over 375. You can see resistance in the pre-market. Over that 375 level, you might get that juice to push it up higher here. Let's take a look. Let's go to 10 days. You can see that resistance right there, that resistance right there. And that resistance again gets confirmed here in these levels, right? So yeah, over that 375, you could see that push back up higher here on MasterCard. But first, you need to get over 375. Roku swing trade to the upside or downside. To me, they have earnings today after hours, so I would wait for that to take place first and foremost, and then decide. What chart are you using? This is TD Thinkorswim. Alright guys, so it is 9 a.m. If you guys are tuned in here, go ahead and smash that like button. If I did miss your question, don't worry. You can DM me on Twitter. You can DM me on Discord. I will get to your questions. I do every single day. I answer all my DMs. Appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. Remember, every Thursday I do go live on YouTube at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. But right now it's 9 a.m. I got to get back and get ready for the market open. Appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for your support as always. And I'll catch you next week right here, Thursday.